Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Tom. This is our third year bringing attention to a very important issue, our local roads. Our local roads matter. And I want to thank all my colleagues on both sides of the aisle in both chambers for helping lead us in this fight to bring awareness to the governor and legislative leaders how important this program is. Our ask is justified. We're asking to work within the constraints of the governor's proposed budget with the $5.4 billion in settlement funds, his 5-year, $750 million proposal for capital for bridges. We believe this is the right time. We know we had another harsh winter, and we're really appreciative of the success we've had the last 2 years, but there's a lot more that needs to be done. The two specific points we're asking for from the governor and the legislative leaders is first, an increase in our CHIPS program by $200 million to restore the $40 million in winter recovery funds that was in last year's budget that was cut out of this year's budget, plus another $160 million increase, and then the creation of a 5-year state aid to local road, bridge, and culvert program dispersed through the CHIPS formula. And why that's important, because that money goes directly to each local community. So each local community, every taxpayer, property taxpayer will benefit from that, rather than the executive deciding which bridges are going to get funded and which aren't. We believe that's a fair way to do it, to balance help to everyone. And I think just some quick statistics, it's in our letter that you all should have a copy of. 87% of the roads in New York State are locally maintained and cared for by our local municipalities, over the 112,000 miles. 52% of the bridges, 48% of the miles traveled are on our local roads. The comptroller's report showed more than 32% of our bridges are deficient. More than 40% of our road pavements are rated poor and getting worse. With the harsh winter from last year and what we're facing this year, salt contracts on our locals are up 25%. A TRIP study that was put out recently showed that with the deficiency in our roads and bridges and the cost to our motorists, it costs New York motorists $20 billion annually. That's $2,300 per driver. The loss of federal aid through the MAP 21 program has taken money away from our locals that had been there before, loss of about 40%. The annual funding gap, a study by the New York State Association of Town Highway Superintendents, $1.3 billion annual gap that we're looking at. The comptroller's own report, $89 billion in unmet local infrastructure needs. And with the property tax and freeze, it makes it more difficult, and we're going to hear from some of our local officials there. But every dollar spent in CHIPS reduces the property tax burden by $1 for our local communities. Many times for those communities, CHIPS is the only funding formula they have to deal with their roads and bridges. We believe this is a smart investment. We believe this is about jobs, because when you invest locally, you hire local contractors, you hire local people, and that money stays locally. This is about economic development. This is about job creation. I'd just like to thank, again, all our colleagues on both sides of the aisle in both chambers. This is a bipartisan approach, and we're going to continue to make that message during budget negotiation to the governor leader how important it is. And the very simple phrase is, local roads matter. So thank you for everyone here covering it. We appreciate it. To our highway superintendents, thank you for the good work you do in our communities. And we'd be happy to take any questions you might have at this time.
Thank you for your support.